Before we get into today's chat, quick one. If you're not 100% sure how your HR is really holding up, take our free HR health check. It's short, jargon-free, and gives you a clear score on what's working and what needs a bit of love. And if you do it before 1st April 2026, you'll get a bonus 7-pillar strategy on a page, tailored to help you manage HR brilliantly for the year ahead. Just head to kateunderwoodhr.co.uk/HR-health-check the link in the show notes. If you've heard the words Employment Rights Act 2025 and your brain's immediately gone, Lovell, I'll deal with that later, you're not alone. Deadlines that sit a bit further away can feel comforting. Plenty of time, nothing urgent. Until it's suddenly urgent and you're trying to fix years of informal habits in the middle of a people issue that's already emotional. And yes, before you say it, I agree. Some of it is madness, especially for small businesses. But being annoyed about it isn't going to stop it from happening. The law will move forward, whether we like it or not. So we've got two choices. Get ready or bury our heads in the sand and pay for it later. This is Buzzing About HR, and today we're talking about the Employment Rights Act 2026, the procrastination trap, and why later will cost you. Not because you're a bad employer, but because small, everyday habits quietly harden into rules you never meant to create. Hello, and welcome back. It's Kate. It's Tuesday the 24th of February, and we finally have some sunshine. The temperature is slowly creeping up as well. Let's hope this keeps up because honestly, I'm ready to stop living like a damp tea towel. Hazel is here too, my well-being officer, offering emotional support by sighing dramatically and positioning herself close enough to any snacks to claim them as hers. Right. In this episode, I'm going to keep it plain English and practical. I'm going to talk about what's changing and why it matters, where small businesses get caught out in the meantime, and how you prepare without panic. Policy overload? Or spending your weekends rewriting documents you do not yet need? The Hive Brief. Let's start with what's changing and why it matters. The Employment Rights Act 2025 brings a stack of changes that affect how you employ people day to day. This is not just a tidy update to your handbook. It touches recruitment, probation, flexible working, absence, performance, and the way you handle concerns and complaints. More rights earlier, more expectations on employers, and less room for we'll sort it later when something starts to wobble. But here's the twist. The biggest risk for many small businesses is not the legislation itself. It's what happens in the meantime. Because while you're waiting for the law to land, your business is still operating. People are still asking for adjustments. Managers are still responding in the moment. You're still making decisions quickly, usually with good intentions, often informally, and sometimes inconsistently. And those informal decisions create patterns. Patterns become expectations. Expectations become how we do things here. And the first time someone challenges it, you suddenly realise you've got an unwritten policy running the business that you never agreed to. That's why later is expensive. Later is when it becomes a dispute instead of a simple conversation. So what does this mean in real life? It means the businesses that stay steady through legal change are not necessarily the ones with the prettiest policies. They're the ones with clear habits. They make decisions consistently. They communicate clearly. They keep basic notes. Their managers have the confidence to have proper conversations early, rather than avoiding and hoping. That's what keeps you safe. Not perfection. Consistency. The sting. Now let's talk about how ER Act risk actually builds in day-to-day working life, because it's rarely one big dramatic moment. It's usually three things. First, informal promises. This is the kitchen table agreement. The "don't worry, you can always do Fridays at home." The "we'll definitely look at a pay review once you've proved yourself." The "yeah, that's fine," said in a corridor while you're juggling 10 other things. The WhatsApp voice note that says, "go on then," with no detail and no review date. These are said with good intentions, but if you don't clarify them, they become expectations. And then, when you try to change direction, the employee feels like something has been taken away. That's when people dig their heels in. That's when it gets personal. Second, inconsistency. This one is the silent killer in small businesses. One person asks for flexible working and gets a yes because they asked early and it felt manageable. Another person asks for the same thing and gets a no because it's a busy week and you can't face the disruption. One person is managed for lateness. Another is excused because they've got a lot on. One person gets a swap approved because the manager saw the message. Another swap falls through because the manager missed it. You might see these as separate decisions. Employees experience them as fairness. And fairness is the thing that fuels grievances, complaints, and claims. Not necessarily the decision itself, but the sense that the rules change depending on who you are. Third, silence. This is managers freezing in the moment or avoiding difficult conversations because they don't want conflict. They hope it will resolve itself. It doesn't. It hardens. A small performance issue becomes a bigger one. A behaviour issue becomes, that's just how they are. A resentment issue becomes gossip and division. Then it escalates into a grievance, a resignation, or a messy capability process where everyone's stressed and you're trying to fix it when it's already too far gone. Now, here's the supportive truth. None of this means you're doomed. It means your business is human. It means you've been operating on trust and speed, which is exactly how small businesses survive. But the Employment Rights Act 2025 will reward businesses that can show they are reasonable, consistent, and clear. And that brings us to the big theme that runs through so many of these changes. Reasonableness, not be nice, not say yes to everything, not avoid conflict. Reasonableness means decisions that fit your business, applied consistently and explained calmly and clearly. So let's make that practical. A reasonable no sounds like this. I can't agree to that pattern because we need cover between 9 and 3 for customers, but I can offer you 2 days from home and we'll review it after 4 weeks. Or, I can't approve 3 people off that week because we won't have safe cover, but I can approve the week before or the week after. Or, I can't change the start time permanently because it impacts handover and customer service, but we can try a temporary adjustment while you sort childcare and review in a month. Notice what's happening there. Clear business reason, consideration, alternatives where possible. A review point, calm language. An unreasonable no usually sounds like, we don't do that here, it's not fair, or because I said so. It's not that you can't say no. It's that blanket refusals and vague reasons are risky because they don't show consideration or consistency. Legal Angel, let's talk risk without the waffle. When legal change happens, employee awareness increases. People hear about new rights from the news, social media, friends, unions, industry chats. They start asking questions. They start challenging decisions, Not always to be difficult, sometimes because they genuinely don't understand why the business does what it does. And the other thing that increases is disputes about fairness. Because when rules are unclear, people fill the gaps with assumptions. They compare, they talk, they build stories about favouritism, unfairness, or being treated differently. Most issues don't start as a legal threat. They start as a feeling. This isn't fair. They get away with it. I'm being singled out. No one listens. That's the start of a grievance. So your protection is not being perfect. Your protection is being able to show that you acted reasonably, consistently, and with a clear rationale. That's why documentation matters. Not paperwork for paperwork's sake, not turning managers into mini solicitors. Just basic notes that show decisions were thought through and applied fairly. Date. What was raised, what was said, what was agreed. Next step. That is enough in most situations to stop things becoming the icky, he said, she said mess. And this is also why copying big company HR approaches often backfires in small teams. They can feel heavy, slow, and overly formal. What works for SMEs is clarity, consistency, and a simple process that people actually follow. Small business actions. Now, let's talk about what you should actually do without turning your life into one long admin task. I want you to take a phased approach. Phase 1 is habits, not paperwork. This is where you stop the silent risk building. Habit 1. Make decisions in sentences. If you can't explain your decision in a sentence, you probably haven't got a clear rationale yet. Tighten the reason. Make it business-based. Keep it calm. Habit 2. Treat yes like it matters. Most small businesses underestimate the risk of a casual yes. If you agree something, confirm it. When it starts, whether it's a trial, and when it will be reviewed. A simple message is enough. Just confirming we've agreed you'll finish at 4 on Tuesdays for the next month. We'll review on the 28th. If it impacts cover, we may need to adjust. That's not corporate, that's clarity. Habit 3, notes not novels. When something is slightly tricky, keep short notes. Your future self will thank you. It prevents the "I didn't know it was serious" surprise later. Habit 4, teach managers to respond, not react. Most mess happens because managers freeze or flap. So teach a simple response pattern. Thanks for raising it. Let me check what we can do. I'll come back to you by Friday. That buys time and prevents emotional decisions that create inconsistency. Habit 5. One source of truth, one holiday tracker. One rota, one process for changes. One place for policies. One approach for flexible working requests. When systems are messy, decisions feel personal. When systems are clear, decisions feel fair. Phase 2 is alignment. This is where you make sure contracts match reality. If working patterns have changed informally, document them properly. If managers have been making promises, tighten that up with a consistent approach. If policies exist but don't match what you do, update them. If you do things in practice that aren't reflected anywhere, get it written down in plain English. Phase 3 is refinement. By the time the bigger changes land, you should be refining and adjusting, not firefighting. Now, I'm going to say the thing you already know and might be avoiding. This is a to-do that needs to be ticked off your list, not buried at the bottom with a hope that by the time you get to it, the laws will have changed again. We can live in hope. But hope is not a strategy. And this is exactly why we created Cake, coffee and compliance. Most business owners don't need another 47-page guide. They need 1 hour a month and someone to translate it into actions. Plain English updates, 3 clear actions, and templates and manager scripts so you can actually implement what matters without panic. 1 hour, once a month, done. This week's challenge. I'm going to make this really simple because you'll actually do it. This week, do 3 things. First, write down your top 2 people problems. The ones that waste time, drain energy, or create tension. Be honest. Attendance, performance, flexibility, holiday and rota chaos, conflict, new starter wobbles, whatever it is. Second, check whether you have a clear process for each one. Not a policy in a folder, a process people actually follow. If you don't, that's your next action. Third, pick one manager conversation you've been avoiding and schedule it. Not to ambush someone. To reset expectations early while it's still fixable. And do the consistency sense check. If 2 people in the same role ask for the same thing, did they get the same answer? And can you explain why? If the answer is no, that's what you fix next. If you've listened to this thinking, I know we need to get ready, but I don't want to spend my life reading legal updates. I get it. You didn't start a business to become an employment law librarian. You need clarity, a plan, and someone to translate it into what you actually do on a Tuesday afternoon when a problem lands. The Employment Rights Act 2025 is happening. Some of it is frustrating. Some of it will feel like it was designed by someone who has never tried to run a small business with 3 staff, a busy phone, and a customer queue. But it's coming anyway, and the businesses that stay steady are the ones that prepare sensibly. Tick it off the list, don't bury it, and don't do it alone if you don't have to. Before we wrap up, quick one. If you're not 100% sure how your HR is really holding up, take our free HR health check. It's short, jargon-free, and gives you a clear score on what's working and what needs a bit of love. And if you do it before the 1st of April 2026, you'll get a bonus 7-pillar strategy on a page to help you manage HR brilliantly for the year ahead. Thank you for tuning in to Buzzing About HR with Kate Underwood. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It genuinely helps more small business owners find this and get ahead of the chaos. Until next time, kettle on, standards up, and let's hope this sunshine sticks around. That's it for today. But if you fancy a bit of friendly HR advice in your inbox with zero waffle, come and join our newsletter. We send out bite-sized tips, plain English updates, and handy things you'll actually use. No spam, no fluff. You can sign up at kateunderwoodhr.co.uk/newsletter-sign up or just hit the link in the show